This is an analysis from Alpha Business Media. In the world of startups, especially in emerging markets, there's a certain mindset that's celebrated. It's all about survival. But what happens when that very same mindset becomes the biggest thing killing your growth? Okay, let's dive into this. We're talking about something called Jugaad. Think of it as this incredible mix of street smarts, resourcefulness, and just a raw get-it-done attitude. For a new business, this is your lifeblood. It's how you fix things on the fly, find what you need when there's nothing available, and keep those first crucial customers happy. It's literally the engine of survival. But here's the paradox, and it's a big one. The very thing that makes you a hero in the beginning, this amazing ability to improvise, well, that becomes the poison that stops you from growing. The startup hero slowly turns into the scaling villain. The game has changed, and you have to change the rules right along with it. And that brings us to what we call the scaling wall. It usually pops up right around that $10 million revenue mark. At this point, you're not just trying to survive anymore, you're trying to scale. And scale, well, it's basically allergic to Jugaad. Now, that $10 million number, it's not really a financial barrier. Think of it more as an operational complexity limit. It's that point where one person, the founder, just can't oversee everything anymore. Go beyond this, and all that improvisation doesn't create efficiency. Nope, it just creates chaos. And all that chaos, it's usually centered around one person. This leads to a massive vulnerability, what we call key person risk. Suddenly, the founder, who used to be the company's greatest asset, becomes its biggest liability. They become a catastrophic single point of failure. And this is what we call the founder's trap. The company can't really take on new investment or tech because its growth is literally capped by the founder's personal schedule. Every single decision has to wait for them. And all that brilliant, on-the-fly knowledge, it stays locked inside their head. It's never written down, so it can never be scaled. So you have to think about what this looks like to an investor. When they see a company like this, they don't see a scalable business. They see a huge gamble. They realize they're not really buying a company, they're just renting the founder. And let's be honest, serious capital avoids betting on just one person. So let's really dig in and see how this toxicity builds up. Because while Jugaad is an amazing tool for survival, it is an absolutely terrible strategy for scaling. As a company gets bigger, 3 poisons start to emerge that can cripple the whole operation. First, your quality and customer experience are all over the place. A clever fix for one customer means the next person gets a totally different product or service. Second, you start racking up huge hidden costs. Think of it like technical debt. Those quick fixes always break down the road, and they're silently killing your profit margins. And third, you just can't train or delegate. I mean, how do you write a manual for be clever under pressure? You can't, and that makes scaling your team pretty much impossible. So, how do you actually fix this? The way forward is a total mindset shift. You have to stop thinking of process as boring bureaucracy and start seeing it as a valuable asset. The goal is to build a system, a flywheel, that turns all that unwritten genius into a scalable machine that anyone can run. And this flywheel has 4 clear stages. First up, document the Jugaad. Don't try to kill it, study it. Watch your best people and write down exactly what makes them so good. Second, standardize the critical 80%. Just focus on the 20% of your operations that deliver 80% of your value and make that repeatable. Third, digitize. Use simple tools to lock in the process and create data trails so you can see what's happening. And finally, institutionalized feedback. You need a system so your team can constantly improve the processes, making them living, breathing things. Now, let's zoom out, because this isn't just about one company's struggles. The ability to solve this problem across thousands of businesses literally defines the future of an entire economy. It really boils down to a choice between 2 very different futures. On one side, you have the stagnation scenario. That's a country full of small businesses that just can't grow, creating this hollowed-out middle in the economy. But on the other side, you've got the breakout scenario. This is where a new wave of entrepreneurs build process-first companies. They attract huge investment, and they create this amazing, dynamic ecosystem of high-growth businesses. So here's the bottom line for policymakers and for founders. The problem isn't really a lack of money out there. It's a lack of companies that are operationally ready to actually absorb that money and use it effectively. The focus has to shift from just access to finance to readiness for finance. But even if you have the perfect strategy, and even if the whole ecosystem is supportive, There's one last and very personal obstacle that stands in the way of making this critical jump. And let's just be brutally honest about it. The single greatest obstacle is the founder's own ego. That identity of being the hero, the one person who can solve any problem, it's powerful, it's intoxicating. And letting go of that, well, that requires a massive psychological shift. The transition they have to make is profound. The founder has to stop being the brilliant musician who tries to play every single instrument themselves. Instead, they have to become the masterful conductor who empowers an entire orchestra to create something far bigger and more beautiful. Their job satisfaction has to come from building the machine that does the work, not just doing the work. And that leaves us with one final provocative question for every single leader and aspiring entrepreneur out there. Which one are you? Because your answer to that question will determine just how far you can truly go.